Albert, I watched, and sometimes when you do this, it's out of curiosity. And then sometimes when you do it, you're just like, is this actually going to have a tangible impact on the regular season? But going back through and watching all Dylan Gabriel's throws, and then this ridiculous controversy where he said, oh, there's entertainers and something else out there. And everyone thought that by saying entertainers, he was taking Shedeur Sanders down a peg. This whole thing is ridiculous.
Because nobody cares about the context. What's that saying? Like a lie goes around the world before the truth puts its pants on. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that right? I screw up those analogies all the time. So
no, you nailed that one.
Okay. It's like, it just, to me, like, not to get into a journalism conversation here, but the lack of like guardrails on any of this crap now,
it's insane.
Like, it's like no one cares. Like, did you see the Micah Parsons thing from over the weekend?
They ran, for those of you who don't know this, they ran an entirely fake quote from a non-existent episode of Micah Parsons' podcast saying he wanted to play for the Broncos on the preseason broadcast.
On the broadcast. So does anybody have to check? This goes back to me. The first thing I thought of was like this idea of confirming news, right? Like, so like for me, like when I like, and this, like for you too, like when this, and this goes back to like when you're on a beat, right? Somebody else breaks the news and then you confirm it. And people are like, you're just trying to get your name on it. And I think that there are some people that are doing it for that reason. That's not why you confirm news. You confirm news to make sure it's true, you know,
right?
Because you don't want to be running around talking about something as if it's true, if it's actually not. So it's always on us to make sure that whatever's out there is actually true before we start discussing it. But at some point it became, well, as long as I can pin this on somebody else, it's not my problem, you know? So I'm going to take this and run with it, and I'm okay to run with it. And this is interesting. So I'm not going to check. And like, you know, like the Shedeur thing over the weekend. Well, like, you know, that was somebody else who posted that video, like without any context or without what, like Aditi Kinkabwala, who was the sideline reporter, like without even including her question.
Right.
It's insane. It's, you know, like I halfway wonder if people even care about what the truth is anymore, which really sucks. But,
right.
You know, these conversations turn into what they turn into. And it's too bad too, because like Dylan Gabriel, by all accounts, is a great kid.
Yeah.
And now this is hung on him.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought he had a nice
and by the way, I think has a good relationship with Shedeur. And I think for all the crap that's been flying around, like the climate in that room is pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know. I thought Dylan Gabriel had a pretty nice preseason game. I think we need to acknowledge the fact that Shedeur was, and I'm not taking him down a peg. Shedeur's start was really good. I'm not taking him down a peg, but you have Dylan Gabriel playing against the defending world champions. And even if it's the remnants of that defense, I probably like the Eagles 2s better than a majority of the Panthers 1s at this point.
Yeah.
And Carolina was historically one of the worst defenses in the NFL. All that said, did Shedeur look a little smoother? Yeah, but was Shedeur under less duress?
Yeah.
Yes. And so I think that there's two parts to this thing. And I think that Dylan Gabriel looked fine. But to think that it's sane, at least right now, to consider either of those people the starting quarterback is just incorrect.
I mean, I just like, first of all, Joe Flacco's going to be the starting quarterback, right?
Correct.
Like, but
yeah,
I mean, so the pick six got like circulated. Like the reality of the pick six was that the tight end there didn't get his hands up and there was a miscommunication on the play. But either way, like I think,
which is going to happen in the preseason, by the way, folks.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you saw with both players, like good, efficient play. I think both showed an ability to operate out there in a simplified version of the offense, which I mean is, you know, in both cases, the coaches did stuff to put the guys in position to succeed, and they did. I always look at, this is what was so encouraging to me about Caleb's performance on Sunday night. And yes, I know that was against backups. But what I try to look at with young quarterbacks now is what actually is translatable, right? Like to the regular season. And I watched like what I liked about Dylan is almost everything Dylan did was from the pocket. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
most of what he did was from the pocket, and it was done with an efficiency, and like I think Shador showed a lot of that too. The interesting thing about Shador's performance is I think maybe his best throw of the night against the Panthers came on a play that maybe he didn't handle quite correctly, because it showed him going back to his habit of bailing out of the back of the pocket, which you saw at Colorado. And he's able to get away in that situation. But are you able to get away again when you have TJ Watt chasing you, when you
Right.
have, like Roquan Smith blitzing? Like, are you able to still get away in those sorts of situations? And so I think both guys like acquitted themselves pretty well. I again, like I've said this before, people don't like to hear it. Shador was way behind, even Dylan Gabriel, let alone the two veterans in the room. He's worked hard to catch up. I don't think he's there yet. I think Dylan Gabriel, in all likelihood, like from what I can see, like looks to me like he's probably going to be a career backup. And I really like some of the stuff I see, but like a lot of it just screams Chase Daniel to me. Like we're good, smart kid, really good football IQ.
Great
Like he's going to be
podcaster.
yeah, the
Great.
kind of yeah, but the kind of guy you want in the room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I understand Browns fans saying, why are we like a transitional year? Why are we wasting our time with a 40-year-old quarterback? That's not reality in the NFL. You have 10 other guys in the huddle, and those guys have a season to play, and those guys have careers. And I promise you, the fastest way to lose those other 10 guys in the huddle is to not give them the best answer at quarterback. Now, if you get to 2-10 or whatever, or 3-8, like then everything changes, right? But at the
Right.
beginning of the year, when you've got a brutal 6-game stretch to open the season, if you are going to put a kid in there who is either not ready or not close to what the veteran will give you, you're short circuiting the chance for the other 10 guys in that huddle to succeed, both on an individual level and on a team level. And there is no faster way to lose your team than to do that.
One quick point before we get into this massive cover-up controversy, Albert, is the fact that we need to normalize the fact that we are not at even us, even the people who go to practices, at portions of practice every day during the regular season. These things need to be won in front of your teammates.
Yep.
Perfect example, Bryce Young last year in Carolina. Do you know how he got the starting job back? By kicking ass on the scout team day in and day out. And that's something that all the older guys see. And this isn't just hyperbole. This is something where the old guys look around and they say, oh my God, that guy got benched. He was embarrassed. This has never happened to him before in his life. And all he does is go back on scout team and start whipping our behinds in practice every day and making that his life's mission. I want to go in the boat with that guy. That has to happen. There's no, like, Kevin Stefanski's not sitting there saying, okay, we're probably going to go 3-10, so let's just start Shador Sanders. I'm sure Kevin is open-minded to anything. And I think if Shador had had an electric preseason second week start over the Eagles and had bashed them over the head and looked even better than he did against the Panthers in week 1, now we can start to have that conversation, because there's a legitimate groundswell among the players who are thinking, okay, this guy seems to have it. He seems to understand the offense. But until that happens, my guess is in practice, Joe Flacco is already on the moon, and these guys haven't even climbed into the space shuttle yet. And everybody can see that.
The players know.
Yeah.
Like that's the reality of it. It's like the players know. And the players know if you're giving them the best answer. And like, again, if we get to November and the Browns are out of the race and you have to start evaluating your roster, then that's a different deal altogether.
Right.
But going in week 1 with a guy who isn't the best answer is not something that you can just, like, if you're a head coach in the NFL, you can't just do that, These guys, like the other 10 guys in that huddle, don't care about your long-term plan. They don't care who your quarterback's going to be in 2027. Like, they want the best guy out there who's going to help put them in the best position to win, who's going to be out there who when like you have like a call that's like a busted call, they're going to be able to change it at the line of scrimmage, so you have a better chance of not getting your head knocked off if
Right.
you're the running back. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It's just stuff like that that people don't really pay attention to, that is really really important. And I personally think like that, just watching it, like, and seeing, like, just reading talking to people there and reading the actions of the coaches, they came out of the spring with the decision, Kenny Pickett's the only guy who has a chance of challenging Joe.
Right.
And they've run the competition as such. And I think they looked at it and said, okay, mentally, Dylan Gabriel, could we put him in a game and feel okay with a limited game plan? Probably. We could probably do that, right? And I think that informed the way that the depth chart was set up, where Shedeur had a little bit longer to go. Dylan Gabriel was a guy who was in college for 6 years, right? Like, so I think they set it up that way, and that's the way the whole thing was structured. And Pickett, like, I think had a shot at making a run at Flacco, and then he got hurt, and so I think it's pretty clearly Flacco now. And by the way, like, having seen them practice twice now, Joe can still really throw it. Now, like, will age catch up to him as far as his movement and everything else this year? We'll see, but he can still really throw the ball.
No doubt. I agree.
The funny thing is people are acting as if Shedeur is like the most talented guy in the room, when the two veterans were both first round picks. Right?
After one preseason start against the Carolina Panthers, people. Come on.
Yeah, but I also understand fans will look at it and say, well, we know what those guys are, which is a fair way to look at it if you're a fan.